Good afternoon. Today is Thursday, and we are going to do one of my favorite practices today, which is a mandala practice. And I haven't done the mandala in quite some time. And what I love about this practice is it spins us all around the mat. So we really can't know what's coming next. We can't anticipate as easily. And that's useful for us yogis, especially when we kind of get used to a certain practice and we get on automatic, like auto drive, that can feel good because we know what's coming next and it feels settling. But to really be in the present moment is one of the aims of yoga. And changing it up and not quite knowing what comes next is one of those ways to be fully in the present moment. So yoga, one of the commandments of yoga, right, let's say, is to do no harm or do less harm. And that's in thought, word, action, and deed. And it's interesting, most of us wouldn't intentionally harm someone in a way that, would physically hurt them. But we often will do that to ourselves. We'll push ourselves or think we need to get somewhere or be different in some way. And we'll push ourselves even sometimes to the point where we injure. And that shows up even more, I find, in our thoughts. So those more injurious thoughts, those thoughts that are self-harming, that can come up and really dominate our internal landscape. So we'll be aware today if and when thoughts arise, and if they are kind, if they are even remotely true. And maybe even more importantly, if they're necessary. Is it true? Is it kind? Is it necessary? Is it timely? Is it useful? When we do a mandala practice, sometimes, and not always, but sometimes we can feel the thoughts arise more because we're not on autopilot. We're not tuned out, but really present. And so let's take a moment just to settle and breathe and maybe place one hand on our heart, one to the earth. Honor the land we're on, the land of the Coast Salish people. And for a moment, just gratitude for this body exactly as this body is, for all the amazing opportunities we have to come back home in our bodies, come back home to the land, remembering. We might create an intention to observe today and be present for whatever arises without that deep critic. Letting that voice take a way back seat. Both palms might gather in Anjali Mudra at the heart, bowing the head slightly. And we'll open with the sound of 3 ohms. Please join me if that feels right for you to do. All right, my dears, let's make our way onto our backs, and have the knees bent, feet flat, and we'll just begin to windshield wiper the legs and very kind of subtly windshield wiper the legs. And as you do that, start to draw the belly in. And as you start to draw the belly in, notice what happens to that windshield wiper. You may feel less range of motion, but a little bit more anchored through the pelvis. So one of the things you'll hear me talking about today with twists is anchoring the pelvis so that we can get the twist more in the mid and upper back, less through the hips. And then we'll have a block or a pillow, place it between our knees and come all the way over onto our right side and take a moment to line that top knee up so that left knee lines up with the right. Keep it there. And then maybe reach your left hand to your low back, draw the belly in, and notice that natural curve. You might even take a moment to bring your ribs more to the right so that when you bring this left arm out to the left, there's a little more support. Maybe you put a pillow under it. My shoulder is nowhere near the ground, so notice that. Lightly draw the belly in. And then we'll take a moment to kind of create like a snow angel effect with this left arm. So maybe the fingertips kind of roll along the floor. And we're just noticing as we go down by the hip, how that left shoulder feels. As we sweep the arm up overhead, how that feels. And maybe there's somewhere along the way that feels good for the shoulder. You might pause there for about 3 more breaths. And then let's remove the block, come back to center, plant the feet, and slowly windshield wiper the legs. At first, just letting the belly kind of do what it does. And then really drawing the belly in and noticing if that makes a little bit of a difference, where you feel the movement. And then let's place the block or pillow back between the knees and come all the way over onto the left side. And take the time to really line that right knee up. Hold it there. Scoot the left ribs a little more to the left. And then bring the right hand maybe to the low back. Feel that natural curve there at the low back. And then the fingertips might touch the earth. And I'll take a few breaths here, lightly drawing the belly in as support. And then very gently begin to snow angel that right arm. And is there a place along the way where you feel useful just to hang out and take a few extra breaths? And then we'll slowly come back to center. And remove the block, place the hands down, windshield wiper the legs. Draw the belly in. Notice. And then my dears will come over to one side and make our way to downward facing dog. You might pedal, you might sway. And then settle for about 5 breaths here. Right leg lifts, inhale. Draw the knee in toward your belly, chest, or nose. Step the foot forward, dip the hips, lift the heart, breathe in. Straighten the leg, breathe out. Stay for an inhale. And bend the right knee. You might have blocks on either side of your foot. Inhale here. Exhale, straighten the leg. Stay for an inhale. Bend that right knee. One more time. Inhale here. Exhale, straighten the leg. Stay for an inhale. Bend the knee. With your blocks, make your way to the long edge of the mat. Feet are parallel. Halfway lift. Inhale. Forward fold. Exhale. Bend your left knee as you straighten the right leg. You're not down too low. Take a deep breath in. Switch sides. Stay for an inhale. Come back to center and fold. Halfway lift, inhale. Spin to face the back of your mat, framing that left foot with blocks or fingertips. Dip the hips, lift the heart, breathe in. Straighten the leg, breathe out. Stay for an inhale. Bend the knee. Breathe in. Straighten the leg. Stay for an inhale. Bend the knee. Look forward, breathe in. Step forward and fold. Rise all the way up, inhale. Lean to your right. Inhale, lift. Lean to the left. Inhale, lift. Fold forward. Halfway lift, inhale. Step your left toes way back. Lift your right arm to the sky. Take a deep breath in. Move to face the long edge of your mat. You might have your blocks. Halfway lift, feet are parallel. Forward fold. Bend the right knee, straighten the left leg a little. Inhale. Switch sides, exhale. Stay for your inhale. Come back to center and fold. Exhale. Halfway lift, inhale. Spin to face the front of your mat, framing the left foot with blocks or hands. Reach your left arm to the sky. Deep breath in. Exhale, plank. Inhale, shift forward. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. 5 breaths. Left leg lifts, inhale. Draw the knee in toward your belly, chest, or nose. Place your foot forward. Back heel goes down, warrior 2. Bend that front knee, allow it to open over the second and third toe. Keep your torso facing the long edge of the mat, but you might look over that left arm. Inhale, exalted warrior. Exhale, side angle. Top arm, 3 circles like you're swimming. And then 3 the other direction. All the way up to star. Inhale here. Bend your knees, goddess. Deep breath in. Long breath out. Inhale, star. Warrior 2 toward the back. Open that right knee over the second and third toe. Inhale, exalted. Exhale, side angle. Top arm, 3 circles. Three the other direction. All the way to frame that front foot. Look forward, inhale. Step forward and fold. Halfway lift. Bow again. Rise up. Lean left. Inhale, lift. Lean right. Inhale, lift. Exhale, fold. Halfway lift. Step your right toes to the back. Here, lift your left arm up to the sky. Take a deep breath in. And then spin the back heel down, side angle. Half bind, or even a full bind. All the way releasing your bind up to star. Exhale, goddess. Inhale, star. Warrior 2 toward the front. Side angle. Half or full bind. Spin the heart up. And then release your mind. Circle sweep that top arm forward, pivot on the back toes, reach your right arm up. Inhale here. Plank. Chaturanga. Cobra or up dog. Downward facing dog. Walk or hop to your hands. Halfway lift. Forward fold. Rise all the way up. Palms right at the heart. Chair pose, inhale. Fold forward, exhale. Halfway lift, inhale. Chaturanga, exhale. Cobra or up dog. Down dog. Right leg lifts. Step the foot forward. Warrior two. Straighten the right leg. Reach beyond the toes. Triangle pose. Place that right hand to your heart. Soften that front knee. Half moon with the right hand to your heart. Inhale, start. Bend your knees, goddess. Inhale, start. Warrior two toward the back. Straighten that left leg. Reach beyond the toes. Triangle. Placing the left hand to the heart. Soften that front knee. Half moon with your left hand at the heart. Warrior two. Cartwheel the hands forward, plank. Chaturanga. Cobra or up dog. Downward facing dog. Right leg lifts. This time bend the knee, spin the hip open. Root your shoulders. 3 hip circles. Three the other way. Right leg is high. Step the foot forward, warrior two. Straighten the right leg, triangle. Half moon. Star. Goddess. Deep breath in. Long breath out. Star inhale. Warrior two toward the front. Straighten that left leg. Triangle. half moon. Warrior two. Chaturanga. Cobra up. Downward facing dog. Left leg lifts. Foot steps forward, warrior two. Inhale, exalted. Exhale, side angle. Half bind or full bind, or bird of paradise with the half or the full bind. Half binds can reach underneath that left thigh. Keeping the leg bent or straightened. Placing the left foot down. Keep the bind you have. Try a moment of a bound half moon. Star pose. Inhale, ta-da, goddess. Breathe here. Star. Warrior two toward the back. Exalted. Side angle. Half or full bind. Bird of paradise, maybe with a half bind, reaching your hand underneath that right thigh. Staying with a bent knee or straightening the leg. Right foot comes down, try just a moment of a bound half moon. Warrior two. Inhale, exalted. Plank. Chaturanga. Cobra or up dog. Down dog. Left leg lifts. Bend the knee. Square your shoulders, open your hips. 3 circles with your hips, one direction. And 3 the other. Lift the leg up. Step the foot forward, warrior two. Interlace the fingers by your tail or grab opposite wrists or elbows. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. Humble warrior. Trying to get that left shoulder toward the inside of the left knee. Crown of the head toward the earth. Five breaths here. Release your hands. Make your way to the long edge of your mat. Fold forward. You might soften your knees a tiny bit. If you have headstand, you could take it. Let's bring our feet back down. We'll halfway lift. Set our heels in, toes out, goddess, bend the knees. Star pose. Warrior two toward the front. Interlace the fingers or grab opposite wrists or elbows. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. Humble warrior, right shoulder goes toward the inside of the right knee, crown of the head toward the earth. Release. Frame your front foot, plank. Chaturanga. Cobra or up dog. Down dog, 5 breaths. Walk or hop to the top. Halfway lift. Hold forward. Chair pose. Arms out to either side. Hug yourself with your right arm under, left arm over. Maybe you stay here or take eagle bind in the arms. Put weight in your left foot, lift your right knee up. Cross the right leg over the left, eagle. Step that right foot back. Bend the front knee, like warrior one. With eagle arms or hug. So now the hips are more forward, right? They're not open like warrior two. Humble warrior with closed hips. Getting that left shoulder toward the inside of the left knee. Release your hands. Straighten your front leg. We're going to keep our feet so that they're like on train tracks instead of a tightrope. Your right toes could face out like 1 or 2 o'clock. Both legs are straightish. Let's lengthen out the torso. Draw the left hip back. Bring weight in the pinky toe edge side of the back foot and the ball of the front foot. Yeah. Lift your left arm to the sky, revolve triangle. Keep drawing the left hip back. Keep bringing weight in that back heel. Notice the spaciousness of this twist for the belly. Keeping the hips as level as possible, stabilizing the pelvis. 2 more breaths. And then frame that front foot. Straighten both legs, bow your forehead toward your left shin. Now, if you're using blocks, place them on the highest setting a little bit away from you, so they're in front of that left foot. Your palms are there. Send your booty back and up like cow. Lengthen out your back. Feel your heart kind of come forward. So cow shape to the back. Lift the right leg to hip height, flex the foot. Lift your left arm up, revolved half moon. Spaciousness for the belly. Try to keep the hips level. Two more breaths. And then place your hands down. Gently step that back foot down and spin everything toward the long edge of the mat. Fold forward or stand on your head. If your feet happen to be to the sky, bring them back to the earth. We'll halfway lift. And then we're going to spin to face the back of the mat and hop step that left foot out to the left a little. Yeah. So here we have straight legs. The back toes are facing about 10 or 11. Draw the right hip back. Draw the heart forward. Lengthen there through the torso. Taking that time to really feel your sitting bones lift up. Weight in the back heel. And then reach the right arm up for a revolved triangle. Bring through the ball of the front foot, the heel of the back foot. 2 more breaths. And then frame that foot. Walk your blocks forward. Bow for a moment. Placing the blocks on the highest setting if you're using them. And again, drawing that right hip back. Big hamstring stretch here if you lift your sitting bones. And then lift that left leg, hip height. Draw the right hip back, long torso, reach the right arm up. Revolved half moon. Parivrtta, Ardha Chandrasana. From here, friends, we're going to land back, warrior one. Reach behind your back for opposite elbows or interlace the fingers. Coming to humble warrior with a warrior one stance. So the hips square, inviting the right shoulder inside the right knee best you can. Keep drawing the right hip back. I know for me, it's much more challenging this way when it's warrior one versus warrior two. Notice what's true for you. Notice how you kind of want to get out of the pose. Keep drawing the right hip back. Release your hands, plank. Chaturanga. Cobra or up dog. Down dog. Walk or hop to the top. Halfway lift. Forward fold. Chair pose. Arms out to either side. Left arm under, give yourself a big hug. Or you might stay or take the eagle arm bind. Put weight in your right foot. Left leg comes over, eagle pose. Lift this knee up. Step it back. Warrior one stance with eagle arms. Take a deep breath in. Humble warrior with eagle arms. With this warrior one hip set. Right hip continues to draw back. Release your hands. Make your way to the long edge of the mat. Lengthen out your spine. Place your right hand in front of your face. Reach your left arm up. Left arm threads under for the right leg somewhere. Now, right hand can walk forward and left or come to a half bind. Release. Halfway lift. Left hand comes in front of the face. Right arm reaches up. Right arm threads under for left leg somewhere. Left hand walks forward and right or half bind. Release your hands. Halfway lift. We're going to walk to the front. Frame that front foot. Set your back heel and rise up warrior one. Reach behind your back. Interlace your fingers or grab opposite wrists or elbows. Humble warrior with these arms. Warrior one stance. Keep drawing the left hip back. Bend the left knee. Elbow toward or shoulder toward the knee. Release and frame that front foot. Plank. Chaturanga. Cobra or up dog. Down dog, child's pose, or rest a different way. Next pose is going to be variations on camel, Ustrasana. So you might come to a baby camel, which is great for stretching the quads. By reaching your fingertips behind you, your hips are on your heels, and then just tuck your tail. Now your hips could stay on your heels, or you could lift them up. Root your knees down, stretch the quads. So that's one variation. You could come to Ustrasana by standing on your knees. I like to bring my knees a little bit closer together than my feet. So my feet are a little wide, which helps my hips. Anchoring the pelvis here by putting your hands on your hips and pushing down. Then I like to kind of lift my ribs up as I send my hips forward and squeeze the shoulder blades together. It's another version. Or you could put a block between your thighs. And imagine, instead of the block shooting out front, which is what it's going to want to do, that you squeeze it so much it wants to come out back. You could reach your arms up, or you could place your heels of your hands on your hips. Wherever you are, let's try to take 5 more breaths wherever you are. Hands could reach for your heels or anywhere in between hips and heels. My friends, we'll sit back on our heels, hero's pose, or you could sit on a block between your heels. And just notice what back bends do for your energy. Pretty enlivening to the nervous system, yeah? And then when you're ready, downward facing dog. Right leg lifts. Draw the knee forward for pigeon. Take the time in tucking the back toes under, inching the back leg back. Looking to the right, drawing that right hip back. If you shimmy the hip back, your knee might join. Tuck the left toes under, inch the foot back another millimeter, and in towards center another millimeter. And then maybe untuck the toes. Continue to look right. 5 breaths here. You might be on forearms or blocks. As you bring your head back to center, you might be on forearms or blocks. Pull the heart forward, like Sphinx. Think Sphinx pose in the upper body. And then bow. Sit off onto your right hip. And slowly swing the left leg around. So the foot and ankle cross over that right knee, setting yourself up for a seated twist. Bring both sitting bones to the earth, even if that means your left toes are not on the floor. Grab hold of that left knee with your right hand. Left hand comes behind. Lengthen and twist. So if our sitting bones are down, even if the left foot doesn't touch the ground, the pelvis is anchored. We're getting a twist, hopefully more in the mid to upper back. Coming back to center. Swing this left leg around. Tuck your toes under. Three-legged dog, right leg goes high. And shake that leg out. Place the foot down, left leg lifts. Draw the knee forward for pigeon. Work with tucking the back toes under and inching the right knee back, looking left, inching the left hip back, which might bring the left knee with it. And then maybe you can tuck the right toes under, inch the right knee back and in towards center, 1 more millimeter. Look left. 5 breaths. And come back to center. You might be on forearms or your forearms might be on blocks. Pull the heart forward like Sphinx. And then bow. Let's sit up onto that left hip and swing the right leg all the way around so that the right ankle goes to the outside of the left knee, and then root your sitting bones, which means some of us, that foot is going to come up off the floor, and that's just fine. We're anchoring the pelvis. Holding on to that right leg with your left hand, right fingertips come behind. This time, friends, we'll come back to center. Swing both legs out in front and we'll shake them out this way on the ground. And then the next place we'll meet is on our backs. Ending the knees, placing the feet to the earth and back to that gentle windshield wiper. And then the belly draws in. And we notice when we anchor the pelvis more, what changes? Where do you feel this movement? Where do you feel any stretch? And then both knees gently drop over to the right. There's space between the feet, or you might stay just like this. Or you might take your right foot and place it on your outer left thigh, gently guiding that left knee toward the earth and drawing the belly in. You could reach up overhead and grab opposite elbows. And we'll come back to center. Change the cross of our elbows. Have our feet wide and windshield wiper till both knees come to the left. Staying just like this or picking that left foot up, placing it on the outer right thigh by the knee and gently guiding that right knee toward the earth, belly draws in. Come back slowly to center, and arms can be along your sides out in a T shape. We'll pause for a moment with both feet to the ground and our knees coming toward one another like a tent. You might stay there or straighten the legs, Shavasana, corpse pose. And when you're ready, we'll slowly come to one side for a breath or two. Make your way back to a seat. Palms gather in any shape, Anjali Mudra, or maybe just hold your own sweetheart, whatever feels potent and powerful actually feels good. right now to you. When we share these practices that kind of turn us all around and are unique or different than what we're used to, it can help us to just notice what comes up when things kind of are unexpected for you. How does your being respond? And what comes up if you don't know what's coming next? And celebrating all of it, whether that is frustration or levity and fun, or anywhere in between. Knowing when we do practices like these, it helps us to just be more aware. Self-awareness is really, again, that should be the first component. That's really the aim, is self-awareness, self-discovery. And in the process, doing less harm to ourselves and others. That helps us to be truer advocates of peace in the world. In that spirit of peace, we say Shanti,
Shanti,
Shalom,
Shalom,
Salam,
Salam,
Amani,
Amani,
Malahia,
Malahia,
Irini,
Irini,
Shiakan,
Shiakan,
Jam,
Jam,
Pache,
Pache,
Pat.
Pa.
In the spirit of our collective healing and liberation, we say Ashe,
Ashe,
Amin,
Amin,
Amen,
Amen,
blessed be,
blessed be,
Kapu Aloha,
Kapu Aloha,
in the catch,
in the catch,
Satnam,
Satnam,
Namaste,
Namaste,
Mitakuyasin,
Mitakuyasin,
Black Lives Matter.